All right. Welcome to the first ever TikTok Live Pass Limits podcast /live.
We ain't got a clue what we're doing.
Yeah. So we're live on TikTok.
That's right.
And we're also recording a show. It's going to be a quick, simple, easy show. We're kind of pressed for time today. Me and Zach got to talking, and we're going to give some little short clips every now and then, short, I guess, podcast. I don't even know if we're going to title them an episode.
Probably not.
It might just be a short. But anyway, we were talking, and I think we're going to do a little bit of, what do you think, mental health?
Yeah, like talking about men, like we kind of said something about it at the beginning on our first episode. We didn't have, men are hard. They don't like to talk, and it's kind of tough. We've been fortunate enough, we've got a friend group that's been together for years, and we kind of open up to each other every once in a while.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have that opportunity. I kind of seen something today. I seen somebody say something that said, if you shut off your phone for a week, just shut your phone off, how many people would come check on you?
Oh, probably not many.
How many people?
Maybe two or three.
How many people would come and check on you?
Yeah.
If you just shut your phone off, didn't reach out to nobody, they couldn't just send you a Snapchat or whatever. That's crazy to think.
Yeah. It is real crazy. Especially, coming from a guy standpoint too, really, I mean, if you're like me, you got probably two or three good friends that you talk to daily.
But
it's like
mental health for men's kind of it's like forbidden. Like you don't.
You don't talk about it because you're a wuss if you do.
Yeah, and that's not the way the world should be.
Yeah. Or if you do talk about it, everybody thinks you're just depressed and about to kill yourself when actually you're just trying to vent.
You're just opening up.
Yeah.
Like I've opened up to people before, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm trying to talk to you to make it a little better."
Yeah.
Men just don't open up. Men don't talk about problems. Men don't want to. We have to be strong. And there's women out there, they're strong too. I'm not saying they're not, but a lot of times men have to be hush, hush. Don't cry. Don't show your emotions. Don't get mad. Don't get upset. And it's kind of hard, especially when you've been through a lot of stuff. Everybody has their own story. Men go through stuff daily, but when you sit back and you're by yourself, you're riding in the truck, you're listening to music. That's how a lot of the men, I guess, get through day to day.
Yeah. Being
alone in their vehicles, crank up some music, don't talk, just hush, hush, hush.
Roll down the windows, just cruise. Really, but really, it's not good for you to. It's not good for you to bottle everything up, because when you do, if something does, I figured out. I used to be the world's worst at bottling stuff up, and at the slightest inconvenience, I would actually implode. Just anything would trigger me, and I'm, it's stupid too, because you don't have to bottle it up. Make a little small group or something, and kind of tell, because there's stuff that you don't want to talk. Like if you're married, which I'm not, I'm single, but if you are married, there's stuff that you don't want to talk to your wife about, because she ain't gonna understand, because she's a woman.
Yeah, and I have that a lot. Like I'm married. I've been married for almost 3 years now, I believe.
Yeah.
And, she can kind of come home and she can vent to me. She can open up to me. A woman can open up to a man and just let him.
Yeah, because the man's the natural leader.
Yeah.
He's supposed to lead his family.
And that's great. That's phenomenal. And that's the way it should be. But the guy has to, like you said a while ago, you will explode. You will lose it. And then when you do lose it, it's like, okay, then they want to start pointing fingers. Oh, yeah. You're a horrible person. You're bad. You blew up. You did this, that, and the other. But in the end, the reason you did that is because you couldn't just relieve some pressure.
Mm-hmm.
If you shake up a Coke bottle and you just crack it open.
Oh, it's going to blow up.
It's going to blow. It's just going to go everywhere. Yeah. If you shake a Coke bottle and you just every so often until it's done, then you can open it up and pour it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just vent just a little bit, a little at a time. You ain't got to say everything at once. Another thing is I've noticed a lot of times they'll poke at you too, and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't worry about that." But
they'll kind of shun you.
yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, they're
certain
like,
people will be like,
you got to be careful though. You got to be careful who you open up to and vent to. So, especially, after when you think about it a little bit, you definitely got to pick. That's why it's really good to have. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. That saying. You can have 100 pennies, but at the end of the day, they're just worth a cent.
That's it.
But you can have 4 quarters and be just as full as 100 pennies, but they're worth a lot more.
Yeah, and they're not as heavy. Tote, they're not weighing you down. Yeah. So that's kind of where we was.
You ain't got to keep up with all of them either. So.
Yeah, because if you lose one of those, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
It's crazy, especially in today's world with just the way everything goes on in social media and, like we talked about before, and in the hunting industry and just all over. Anywhere you go, it's worse for a man, in my opinion, to be able to talk to somebody.
It is. There's a lot more weight, too, that comes with being a man, too.
Well, you got a lot more on your mind 24/7.
My mind is running it's always running. The only time it shuts off if I go to sleep, and then there's been nights too where I just wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something, just like
and something that you was thinking about, beginning of the day, and it just hits you again, and you can't talk about it. Who you going to talk to? Yeah,
I think we should try. We live in a culture of everybody trying to normalize everything, but this is one big issue that I think that we should definitely put a priority to trying to normalize men talking to other men about mental health. So
if you look up the statistics
that's what I'm doing right now
on like men's suicide and men's mental health versus women, like it's kind of crazy.
It's freaking outrageous.
It's scary almost. And yet again, it's because, if a woman turned her phone off, like I said earlier, everybody'd be knocking on her door.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where did she go? Did she get kidnapped? What happened to her? Oh, my goodness. If a man in his 20s or 30s turned his phone off, they'd be like, oh, well, he's just busy. He's just got something going on.
Yeah, men are 3.85 more times likely to commit suicide than women. Let's see.
White males accounted for 68.5% of suicide deaths in 22.
Yep. So, that's, So, 4 times, that don't sound like a bunch, but that's
when
1
you
in
do
4.
it over the world.
Yeah,
number.
That's 3 out of 4 suicides are men. Yeah,
that's crazy. And out of 3 out of those 4, if 2 of them could have been able to talk to somebody, they probably wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Felt comfortable to be able to talk to somebody. Every corner they turn, it's something. You've got to worry about, bringing home money for the house, for your family. If you're in the family, you got to worry about what does people think about you. You got to make sure you do everything, to a T. If you have children, you got to make sure, I got to make sure I'm leading by example for them. And it's women look at you to be that example.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like when you grow up in a split home, that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
If they don't have both figures in the household, it plays a toll on them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't really know what that's like. Well, some of it I do. When I was, which if you watched any of the podcasts, we just had my stepdad on here. He was actually like a dad figure. I didn't really know my real dad. He left when I was super young, but Heath, he's been my stepdad. He came in. Him and my mom got together probably when I was 7 or 8. So he pretty much raised me, but so I don't really know. I know a little bit, when I was super, super young, but I'm 20. That was 20 years ago, so I really don't. I don't remember, but yeah, it would be nice. You know, it would have been nice to be like 5 or 6 years old and have a dad. But you know, but that's the thing though. You got to kind of take your cards that you're given. Life's not fair. It's not fair to anybody, but it depends. It's all how you play the hand that you're dealt. So
yeah, you gotta work with what you got. And the biggest thing is you've got to understand, like, it's not your fault. At the end of the day, it's not your fault, and you've got to be able to take what you got dealt and better yourself and your situation off of it. You know, I was in a split family basically twice. My mom left when I was at a very young age. I was basically a year old, and my dad raised me by himself till I was, I think, 6 or 7.
yeah,
And then he got remarried, and she was there until I was, I don't know, 8, 10, somewhere in that area. And then she left.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 of them leaving was kind of hard.
Oh yeah,
And then after
that'd make
that,
you have some real women trust issues too. I mean, if it was, I mean, I would just say, I would think
it did. And at the end of it, you know, after the second one left, I ended up living with my grandparents, and that kind of helped me, I think, in a sense, because I had both of them in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my dad still was, you know, he was still there all the time, but he worked all the time, so it was easier for me to live with them than get up at the crack of dawn every morning to go to my grandparents to get on the bus to go to school.
Yeah.
And it did take a toll on me for the longest. It kind of threw me in a whirlwind of emotions for a long time. But then at the end of it, you know, I always tried to better myself out of that situation. You know, I didn't let that justify
That's what you gotta
my
do.
life.
Yeah. You can't let it define you, for sure. No matter what your situation is when you're a kid, there's really nothing you can do about it at that time. But it is in your hands to do something about it once you become an adult. So
Exactly.
No matter what situation you have growing up, even if you're a male or a female, it's all about what you do. You know, you could have had the perfect life, and that's great. Not everybody was like that. You know, it's a blessing that you had that. But, you know, you hear all these stories too about people that look like they have the perfect family, and it'd be an absolute disaster. Yeah. So everybody has something, man. Everybody has some sort of childhood trauma probably. So you just gotta, it's all about what you do with it once you become an adult. You can, you know, move out, you know, and play the victim part.
Oh yeah.
And say, oh, why me? Why me? It's, you know, you're not going to go anywhere from that. So, you know, you might as well pick it up, say, okay, you know, all right, this is what I got, and keep moving forward. So, but, you know, having people that'll help you along the way it works wonders. You can't do it by yourself. We as humans are pack animals. We're naturally pack animals. So, you know, we come from a long lineage of tribes. If you were to look back in the Stone Ages, we're tribal people, you know. So you need some people along the way to, you know, help you guide you through it. So you can't do this life alone, for sure.
No, and I think it's crazy how, you know, going back to what we were saying earlier, instead of like people trying to pick each other up, they all the time try to shun them. They always try to push them down. They try to, you know, like you were saying, oh, don't, what are you talking about? That's wrong. No. Like, don't, you've got to help. You got to help anybody.
Give a lending ear every now and then. I'm not saying be the hub for everybody's problems, because
that can cause more problems.
Yeah, if you're just trying to help people 24/7, no matter who they are, that can be bad on your end, because if you're hearing about all these bad things all the time, it's probably going to rub off in some way on you. So.
Oh yeah, if you surround yourself by negativity, you're going to live a negative life. I'm not saying, you know, you got to, unless you're a therapist.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, to be honest with you.
I don't either. Yeah. It's that'd be a tough job.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
But, you know, especially close people, close family, close friends, be there for them. And as a guy, like we were saying, guy's standpoint, be there for another guy.
Yeah.
Don't sit there, like if he comes to you he's coming to you to talk to you, and he's trusting in you.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, you're you know what. No, you got just sit there.
Don't play the big macho guy all the time.
Yeah, guys have feelings.
Oh yeah,
100%.
We hide them.
People think, oh, guys are supposed to be tough. This and that. We have feelings just like any woman.
Yeah.
Period. Wouldn't
say the same feelings. We're not as emotional, but it is. But that's another thing. Like, we don't seem as emotional, but in our mind, there's 100 different things going on every day.
I think we've evolved to be to that. I think we've evolved to the point where we're not as emotional now because we've been forced and led in the way that, hey, you can't show your emotions.
Oh no.
You got to be strong. You can't do that. And I'm not saying go out there and whine about everything.
Yeah. You don't want to be a whiner for sure, but there's a time and place for everything. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. That's just one thing that's always been, putting something on me is like, be there for another guy. Be there.
Pick a brother up.
Yeah.
When he's down, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Lend a lending hand every now and then. Pick him up. And really, you never know what you're going to get out of it either. Don't do it just for the fact of thinking that you're going to get something out of it. Do it because you're willing. Be willingly to do it. But
you don't never know what
you don't never know that. Heck, he might have saved his life. So you may not even ever know it. But
in a small sense, you may have just saved his life by being there. Something that you thought was silly, could have kept him from kicking the chair out from under him.
Yeah.
In a sense of you don't know everybody's story.
No.
And they're not going to tell you every detail of their story.
No, they're going to leave stuff out for sure.
They're going to if they're coming to you, they're just going to hit the high points enough, like we was talking about, to get that vent out and then move on. But treat it like it's the whole shebang.
Yeah, treat it like it's life and death, because it could be. It might not be, but it could be.
Deep down, it could be.
So you don't ever know. Don't assume anything. And like I said, just lend a lending hand every now and then. A lot of, as a guy too, I don't really. If I come to somebody, which I'm the world's worst at it too, I don't ever talk about stuff. But if I did decide to come to somebody, I'm not looking for answers.
No.
Just somebody to hear me out and be like, yeah, just so I know that I'm not alone in it. It's in a way that, if I tell somebody my problems, I know that it's not just on me. I'm not alone in whatever problem that I'm going through. So
4 simple words could change the whole shebang. It will be all right.
Yep. That's it.
And that could save somebody's life.
It could. Very easily could. And then you don't know the compound fact or the compound effects that that's going to have, that, is impossible. It's limitless on the compound effects that could have saving somebody's life at the end of the day.
Yeah, because like I was just, thinking, if I go to you and somebody realized that I went to you and it saved my life, well, they might turn around and go to somebody.
Yeah.
And then they save their life. And it's like a domino effect. Hey, I was in a bad spot and I went and talked to Matt and it made it a lot better. Oh, okay, yeah, man, cool. And he turns and goes and talks to Joey or whoever, whatever. And then now he's out of his situation. It's a domino effect.
I will say a lot of things that's helped me, and if anybody's listening to this that struggle with, anxiety, depression, you're not alone. There's a lot of people, especially in today's age. They say a lot of most younger adults, under 35 suffer it. But what helped me is I started listening to Jordan Peterson, and he's got several books, but 2 books that really stood out to me was 12 Rules of Life and Beyond Order, which is 12 More Rules. And anybody that doesn't know who Jordan Peterson is, he is he used to be a professor, and he used to be a therapist, but he lost all that because of political things. Great guy. He's got some very solid points. Look him up. Study him. And get those books. If you're struggling with it, because I guarantee you it'll light a spark or something, an entity in you, and be like, okay, it's kind of like a guide on how to handle a lot of situations. So I would highly recommend it, but to anybody. So that, and I don't know, a lot of people now in today's age, they're not Christians. Reading scripture will also help tremendously.
100%.
So
if you can't figure it out,
yeah,
I promise you, it's in
the good book somewhere,
guaranteed.
And now with today's age with the internet, if you don't know where to find it, just look it up. Just put, if you're dealing with depression, put scripture for depression. It's gonna bring 10 to 20 to hundreds of different passages, and that'll help you.
And out of all those, one of them will hit home.
Oh yeah,
one of them will connect, and you'll be like, all right, that right there helped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like we've said in our first episode, we're not strangers. If you do need somebody, I don't care where you are, you can shoot one of us a message, and we'll at least listen.
Oh yeah.
We may not know the answer.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely listen.
I don't know the answer to a lot of things, but
listening is a very good thing we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, that brings me, like I said before, a lot of times it's just having somebody to hear you out. That's half the battle there, is just speaking up. So
yeah.
But anyway, everybody, like I said, we're gonna keep this short. Everybody watching on TikTok, look us up, Past Limits Podcast. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. We're going to try to branch out, and we can't thank you enough for watching, and we really enjoy doing this, and can't do it without you. So thank you very much. And everybody that's listening to this on the podcast, look us up on TikTok. You might see a live video every now and then. So
yeah, and if
and they're going to intertwine. So if you missed the live, just go to YouTube. It'll be on there probably by tomorrow. So
yeah, and if anybody has any ideas or anything, topics that they think or that they want to hear us talk about,
or if anybody's close and wants to come out, come on.
We're always open for guests. Yep. We'll get you in where you can fit in. And anything, topics, main things going on in the world, main things going on, and whatever, you can shoot them you can comment on any of our videos, whatever you want to do, and we'll try to touch base on them if we can.
Yeah, that's a good thing about being a smaller podcast right now, is we actually can read all the comments. So your comment's going to be read.
Yeah, and we're
going to reply to it. So
zone in on whatever it is that you're saying or whatever it is that you want us to talk about. And we'll keep branching out. We'll keep going forward. We're going to have guests on here, hopefully some guests that people aren't going to be expecting. We're going to do videos. We're going to do shorts.
That's another thing. If you live, if you don't live close to us, we're working on a way to do a video call. Ain't worked out all the kinks yet, but I'm pretty sure we're getting close. So we can do via Zoom or whatever. So
yeah.
But anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.